Let's talk about sleep earbuds, the kind that don't just help you drift off to sleep, but actually track what's happening while you sleep. There are a lot of them out there now, and it can be overwhelming to figure out which ones are actually useful. But here's the truth. This isn't really about the brand names, or which model looks the coolest, or which one has the flashiest packaging. This is about understanding what matters when it comes to sleep tracking. What features actually help, what makes a difference in how you rest, and how you can use these tiny tools to improve your life in real, lasting ways. Now, I've spent the past few months living with these devices, not just testing them like a reviewer, but actually sleeping with them, night after night, letting them become a part of my routine. And through that process, I've learned that there are 5 main types of sleep earbuds out there that offer something genuinely valuable. 5 different styles of features, if you will, that show up across different brands, and each one has something unique to offer. I'm not here to tell you which exact product to buy. That's your decision based on what feels right to you. What I want to share are the 5 types of sleep tracking features I think make biggest difference. Features that help me sleep better, understand myself more deeply, and show up to life more awake. The first kind are the ones that offer sleep stage tracking in a simple, straightforward way. These earbuds usually come with an app that breaks down your sleep into stages: light, deep, REM, awake, and gives you a timeline of your night. For me, this was one of the most powerful kinds of feedback. Not because I needed to obsess over the numbers, but because it gave me insight. When I started noticing that my deep sleep was super short on nights when I ate late or worked right before bed, I realized I had some patterns I needed to change. These earbuds helped me connect the dots, and that connection made me feel more in control of my rest, and by extension, my life. The second kind are the ones that play sounds specifically designed to guide your brain into sleep. I'm not talking about just any music. I'm talking about scientifically engineered audio, white noise, pink noise, slow frequency tones, even guided breath work. I found that these earbuds weren't just tracking my sleep, they were shaping it. They gave me a smoother transition from day to night. On stressful days, those sounds helped me shift gears. It was like telling my brain, we're done now, time to let go. And that shift, that ability to soften, made all the difference. Because sometimes we don't struggle to sleep because we're not tired. We struggle because we don't know how to stop. These earbuds help me stop. The third kind are the ones that track movement and stillness. They don't always give you detailed charts, but they give you trends. They show you how often you tossed and turned, how restless your sleep was, how long you stayed still. At first, I thought this was kind of basic, but over time, I started seeing patterns. Nights when I was anxious, more movement. Nights after a long walk, more stillness. And those insights helped me become more proactive. I started stretching more. I started winding down earlier. I stopped taking screens to bed. These little decisions came from little observations, and that's where the magic is, not in the device, but in what it reveals to you about yourself. The fourth kind are the earbuds that track your heart rate or breathing patterns throughout the night. Some even give you a score based on how well your nervous system recovered while you slept. These aren't perfect, but they're fascinating. I used to wake up feeling exhausted and wonder why. Then I started seeing nights where my heart rate stayed high, or my breathing was shallow, or my recovery score was low. That data showed me when I was carrying stress into the night. And once I knew that, I could actually do something about it. I started journaling before bed. I started using calming audio tracks. I started asking myself, what am I holding on to that I need to release? These earbuds became a kind of mirror, showing me not just how I slept, but how I was living. And finally, the fifth kind, the ones that are so comfortable, so gentle, that you forget you're even wearing them. This might not sound like a feature, but trust me, it is. Because none of this data matters if you can't sleep with the device in your ear. Comfort is the foundation of everything. When I found earbuds that actually fit well, that didn't press or fall out or make my ear sore, I started sleeping better instantly. And when you're more comfortable, your brain relaxes. You fall asleep faster. You stay asleep longer. The tech works better. The feedback is clearer. It all flows. So yeah, comfort might be the quietest feature, but it's also the most important. These 5 feature sets, sleep stage tracking, audio support, movement tracking, heart rate and breathing monitoring, and physical comfort, make up the core of what I now look for in any sleep earbuds. Not because I want all of them at once, but because each one offers a different way to improve my relationship with rest. Each one tells me something unique, and each one invites me to listen more closely, not just to the device, but to myself. Now let's spend a little more time with each of these 5 types of earbuds, because the more I lived with them, the more I realized how different people respond to different features. And what works for one person might not work for another. And that's okay. What matters is finding something that meets you where you are, something that supports the way you sleep, not the way someone else does. Take the ones with sleep stage tracking. When I first looked at the charts, I'll be honest, it was confusing. There were colors and bars and timelines, and I didn't know what half of it meant. But I stuck with it, and something amazing started to happen. Over time, I began to recognize patterns. I learned that a strong chunk of deep sleep early in the night usually meant I'd wake up feeling physically refreshed. I saw that a long stretch of REM around 5 or 6 in the morning helped me feel mentally sharp. And when either of those was missing, I could feel it the next day. Not just in my energy, but in my mood, my memory, my focus. That kind of feedback helped me build rituals that protect my sleep, not just extend it. I stopped looking at sleep as enough or not enough, and started looking at it as balanced or unbalanced. That shift in mindset was huge. Then there were the audio support earbuds. These were a total game changer for me, especially on stressful days. I used to lie in bed with my mind racing, replaying conversations, anticipating problems, scrolling on my phone just to distract myself. But when I started using sleep earbuds with built-in soundscapes, something shifted. I would play a soft stream sound or a low-frequency hum, and it was like my mind finally had something to focus on. Something gentle, steady, predictable. It gave my thoughts a place to settle. Over time, those sounds became cues. As soon as I heard them, my body began to relax. My breathing slowed, my jaw unclenched, my thoughts softened, and sleep came easier. It wasn't just noise, it was care. And that care changed everything. The movement trackers were subtler but just as powerful. At first, it felt silly to care about how often I rolled over in the night. But once I started looking at the data alongside how I felt during the day, the connection became obvious. Nights with high movement usually meant poor focus the next day. Nights with stillness, more clarity, more calm, more emotional resilience. That awareness helped me spot hidden sources of stress. I noticed that arguments, caffeine, even clutter in my bedroom all made me more restless. And once I saw that, I could actually do something about it. I started treating my bedroom like a sacred space. I removed distractions. I created calm. And the results were real. Not just in the graphs, but in my entire experience of sleep. Heart rate and breathing monitors took things even deeper. These features helped me understand the connection between my emotional life and my physical recovery. I started seeing how certain habits, like screen time before bed or having a tough conversation late at night, could raise my heart rate and interfere with sleep. But it wasn't just about avoiding stress. It was about learning how to repair. I discovered that stretching before bed, journaling, or listening to guided breathing could actually bring my nervous system back into balance. The earbuds showed me the proof. My heart rate dropped, my recovery improved, and I felt better. Not just in the morning, but in how I moved through the day. I wasn't on edge all the time. I wasn't reacting to everything. I had more space inside. And finally, comfort. It's funny how easy it is to overlook this part. We get so caught up in the data and the features that we forget the most important question. Can you actually sleep with them in? For me, this took some trial and error. I tried earbuds that were too bulky, ones that slipped out, ones that pressed against my ear when I rolled over. And then I found a pair that just disappeared. I put them in, lie down, and that was it. No adjusting, no discomfort, just peace. That comfort made everything else possible. It allowed the data to be real. It allowed the audio to work. It allowed the rest to happen naturally. And that reminded me of something simple but profound. Rest requires ease. If you're fighting with your tools, you can't relax. But when everything fits, when your body feels supported, your mind feels safe, and your environment feels calm, sleep becomes something beautiful. And after spending all this time with these different types of sleep earbuds, after learning what they could do, what they couldn't do, and what they quietly invited me to notice about myself, I've come to believe that these features aren't just about better sleep, they're about better awareness. Because when you pay attention to how you sleep, you're really paying attention to how you live. You're asking deeper questions. You're building a more compassionate relationship with your body. You're learning to listen, not just to what's going wrong, but to what might be ready to go right, if only you slow down enough to hear it. And that's what these earbuds help me do. Not just sleep, but slow down. Not just collect data, but gather insight. Not just rest, but reset. They help me see that good sleep isn't about chasing perfect numbers. It's about creating conditions that allow your body to heal. It's about letting go of noise, both external and internal. It's about building trust with yourself again, one night at a time. So if you're watching this and you've been thinking about trying sleep earbuds, not to follow a trend, not to get a higher score, but just to understand your body a little better, to give yourself a little more peace, I think it's worth a try. I think these tiny, humble tools can offer something meaningful. Not because they do the work for you, but because they help you see the work that needs doing. They shine a light on your patterns, your habits, your rhythms. And in that light, you get to choose what kind of rest you want to create. You don't have to use every feature. You don't have to get it right every night. You just have to care. Just enough to notice, just enough to stay curious, just enough to ask, how did I sleep? Not with judgment, but with kindness. Because every night is a new opportunity, and every morning is a chance to begin again. If this video gave you something to think about, if it made you breathe a little deeper, or made sleep feel a little more possible, I'd love to have you as part of this community. On this channel, The Daily Health Shift, we talk about tools like this, not as magic fixes, but as quiet companions on the journey back to balance. We're here to explore how small choices add up to real change. We're here to shift, not overnight, but one day, one breath, one night of rest at a time. So if that resonates with you, subscribe to The Daily Health Shift. Join the conversation. Share this video with someone who's been tired for too long. And let's keep learning how to take care of ourselves together. This is The Daily Health Shift. Until next time, sleep well, stay present, and keep listening to what your body's been trying to tell you all along.